Good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here, of course, with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. So let's get open for business here, and let's wake up the football gods here on this Tuesday as we count the clock down. It is exactly 10 a.m. and 6 hours, guys. 6 hours, actually, we'll say 5 hours and 59 minutes from now is the deadline for the Dallas Cowboys if they are going to use the franchise tag on Dalton Schultz it's not it's you can only use one, or on Randy Gregory, but reports are they're not going to spend the $20 million it would be on the franchise tag on Randy Gregory, but they just might on Dalton Schultz, which would buy them time to get a long-term deal done if they deem that he's worthy of a long-term deal, or basically pay him $10.8 million for this upcoming season. For those who don't know, Dak Prescott is currently working on a restructure. Understand what used to happen when Tony Romo would get a restructure. We get people say, yeah, man, Tony Romo, he's a team guy. He's taking less money. It's like, no, you don't understand what restructuring means. Restructuring means it's accounting. It's basically like taking a tax deduction. It's just kind of moving a little money over here so that way it doesn't show up over there. They restructured his deal last year so that way it was only a $17 million hit. Somewhere around the neighborhood of $18 million will be Dak Prescott's cap number this year. The Cowboys will probably be getting in the neighborhood of $15 to $16 million of cap relief, which basically makes them $2 million over. Add to that they're also looking at putting 2 voidable years on Zack Martin's contract. This is the new tool that the NFL now has, is you basically make bullshit years, voidable years at the end of the contract that don't really mean anything, but you can shift money down there. So that way, later on, when the salary cap explodes, you can go ahead and get rid of some of that money down the road. And that's what teams are doing. So Zack Martin is working on his deal, looking like it's going to be about $7 or $8 million more on top of what Dak Prescott has. So between Dak and Zack Martin, you're looking at $23 million. Those 2 moves alone get the Dallas Cowboys $10 million worth of cap relief. But if you turn out and franchise tag Dalton Schultz, well, then that's that $10 million, and they still have problems if you're trying to sign Randy Gregory. It would actually behoove them, if you deem Dalton Schultz somebody you're going to need for more than a year, to actually get a longer-term deal. 2, 3, 4 years, because then you can take the guaranteed money and you can spread it out some. And they can use the salary cap designation and work on a longer term deal until July 15th. It basically buys you some time. If we look at Amari Cooper, which I don't know how, after everything that's been said, how this could end up being that Amari Cooper comes back. I just don't know. If he is cut, there is then another $16 million in cap room. So you end up putting in, basically, and having $26 million of cap space to work on your free agents. We hear that, of course, are close to a team-friendly deal for Michael Gallup, and quite frankly, coming off of a calf injury as well as rehabbing an ACL, I don't know how you could pay him premier money. And it may be that Michael Gallup says, I really like being here with Dak and the Dallas Cowboys, and I'm happy here, and I can work and do what I'm doing here with the Cowboys and take the money right there that's less and be a team guy. It's looking like it's going to be a 5-year, $10 million or so deal with like 25 to 30 million guaranteed. And again, the front end number for a contract like this could be as low as like $2 or $3 million. So you're not eating up too much of that money because you're stretching it out over 5 years. And if we're talking about, a 5-year deal and they're talking about 25 to 30 guaranteed and 10 million, that's basically saying that 2 of the years will probably be guaranteed. And so that signing bonus and that guaranteed money is divided by the length of the contract and so forth. And that's why you get a lower number. So they'll be working on that. We're told that Randy Gregory is another guy that they want to bring back as well. Then there is, of course, DeMarcus Lawrence. D-Law was asked to take a pay cut, in which case he declined. And you have to figure that D-Law, if they could cut DeMarcus Ware, they could certainly cut D-Law. D-Law is not a bad player. D-Law is just getting older now and having more and more injuries, contrary to what you get from Skip and Shannon. I apologize. I went off last night on my live stream because of the bullshit that they get. When Shannon Sharp tells you that, oh man, Pro Football Focus has DeMarcus Lawrence as, like TJ Watt, you got to look at this and say the guy missed 7 games last year and had all of 3 sacks. I know sacks aren't the be-all, end-all, but when you look at what Micah Parsons did in one season with 13 sacks, 80 tackles, quarterback hits and pressures, and then you compare it to what DeMarcus Lawrence did, you kind of say, oh, that's what the position is supposed to look like. Not exactly what we got with Tank Lawrence. And I'm not saying that Tank Lawrence isn't a valuable player, but when you're talking about $27 million, that's a different story. Now, here's the thing with Tank Lawrence's deal. Because there was so much guaranteed money, unlike Amari Cooper's, where his guaranteed money was already paid out, there's still money that D-Law is owed, partially because of the hamster wheel that the Dallas Cowboys are on every offseason. And that is restructuring contracts to get money to make up for past mistakes. We continue to do this. 2 years ago, we had about $15 million in dead money. Last year, we had $25 million in dead money. This year, we'll probably have about $30 million in dead money. And that money has to come from someplace, and that's why you end up restructuring contracts. And D-Law's number is as high as it is because they've restructured it a couple times because they needed cash. With his deal, if they make him an immediate cut, if they were to cut him before the 20th and make him a pre-June 1st cut, they would save $9 million. But they would incur $19 million in dead money. If they make him a post-June 1st cut, he's still cut right now, but you can't use the money until after June 1st, then it would be $19 million of cap savings and only $9 million of debt. And with the Cowboys doing the things that they're doing right now with refinancing Dak and Martin and cutting Amari Cooper, it would probably behoove them to do that as the June 1st cut. What that'll enable them to do, because what will happen, of course, next month we have the draft. You're going to have the first wave of guys that are cut for free agency, and that's the cream of the crop. And we know Stephen Jones is not going in the cream of the crop. They don't start looking into free agency till really the second week. To me, that's a mistake, because what happens is we get a whole bunch of free agents. We basically try them out. We plug them in. They're okay, but they're not game changers. We let them go at the end of the year, and we incur dead money. Done that with the Dontari Poes and the Clinton Dixes and the Gerald McCoys and so on. And we'll have a lot of guys from this year's crop of the 24 free agents that we have right now that will be just a one-year rental that will leave more dead money for the Dallas Cowboys. And come next year, this time we'll be doing the same thing. We'll be restructuring contracts to get some more money, although the salary cap will blow up quite a bit more next year, and the year after it will really. So maybe by 2024, the Cowboys won't need to do that. And Stephen Jones has told us that you can't build a team that way, and it's going to mess you up in the future, that free agency is bad. But I don't see the difference of the free agency being bad as it is the way you're going about free agency. You're not finding guys that have any staying power. Other than Jaron Kearse and our punter, Brian Anger, free agents-wise, who do you look at for free agents that we signed this past year of all the free agents? You say, man, we struck gold. We got some great players. We got guys we can build on. And so all that money that you spent where you signed a 2-year deal or a 3-year deal, you still incurred dead money. You wasted it. For me, I think they need to look and say, maybe you're not going for the cream of the crop, top free agent, but don't bargain basement shop. When you bargain basement shop, you got to replace it. It's only a temporary fix, and we need longer-term solutions. Don't get the Ty Nsekes that if Tyron Smith goes down, you don't have faith in him starting. You pay a guy like that to do nothing, and then you have dead money on him. So this is where the Cowboys are messing up in my mind. They're at a crossroads here. You can continue to do the same thing expecting a different result, which is what we've been doing, not just this year, last year, but we've been doing this forever. We did it with Dak. We did it with Tony Romo. We continue to restructure and just find some bargain basement guys. When you see other teams realize that's not going to cut it. The Rams realize we got to go out and get players. We're going to pay them. We're going to find ways to pay them. And we're going to keep them. We're going to get guys that are going to be more than just a 1-year plug-in. Von Miller, they're trying to bring back. Odell Beckham, trying to bring back. Matthew Stafford, they're going to pay him $45 million a year. Aaron Donald, we're going to pay that guy. Cowboys, we want some value, man. We want some value, man. You know, we want some cheap guys. And let's go ahead and cut D-Law and Amari Cooper so we can hamstring the coaching staff. But let's see what they have to say on NFL Network this morning. Well, here's what, this is what's so funny is every year at this time of year, they tell us how bad our Cowboys are. They're terrible, they're mismanaged and everything else. But by training camp, they will tell us that they're a Super Bowl team. Oh, they're a Super Bowl team. They're great. Dallas Cowboys, best team. They're well built. And it's like, you can't have it both ways. Are we a garbage team that's overrated? Or are we really the team that you believe? Because you guys are the ones that set the expectations. You guys are the ones that go through and come up with shit, literally, Skip Bayless. You know, when you say that the Dallas Cowboys can't get any players because they paid Dak Prescott $75 million and that he put Jerry Jones against the wall and fleeced him, when the reality is Sam Darnold will be a bigger cap hit for Carolina than Dak will this year. That literally, that the Eagles paid twice as much money to tell Carson Wentz to just leave than what Dak Prescott's deal was. So that's exactly where we are. You know how it usually is. If you're a Dallas Cowboy fan and you're watching the shows, basically,
oh, I say it again, you've been had. You've been took. You've been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok. This is what he does.
This is what they do. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you soon. Our coach here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report.
You did one hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to say is